she said. One more word and I might change my mind. I heard it while I was fumbling with my wallet, pretending I hadn't just stared at her for longer than necessary. The bell over the cafe door jingled as I stepped in, like it knew I was late. She was already there, half turned to the counter, hair pulled into a loose knot, the kind that made her look both tired and untouchably calm. I ordered my usual, black coffee, no sugar, and she remembered. Not just remembered, she smiled at me like she had a little secret. Same as always? She asked. Her tone wasn't heavy, but it hung there like it might bend if I said something wrong. I nodded, and the words stuck in my throat. While she prepared the drink, I watched the way her hands moved. Slowly, deliberately. One hand resting on the counter, the other adjusting a stray strand of hair. I tried to fold my napkin neatly in my lap, more for distraction than neatness, my fingers twitching. There's something about watching someone who doesn't notice you watching them that makes every small gesture feel intimate. I sat near the window, half looking outside, half looking at her. She was talking to the barista, but I caught the way her eyes flicked toward me, just for a second. That second was enough. I felt my chest tighten a little. Not in panic, not exactly, just recognition. And the odd, sinking kind of loneliness that comes from wanting to speak but not knowing what to say. I had paused mid. Thought about texting an old friend I hadn't spoken to in months when she brought over my coffee. The cup warmed my hands before I noticed the tiny smudge of coffee foam on her thumb. I caught it, reflexively, and she smiled, brushing it off like it wasn't a big deal. You're staring, she said, almost teasing, though her eyes softened at the edges. Sorry. Didn't mean. I trailed off, not because I was embarrassed but because the words felt too loud for the quiet of the cafe. I sipped my coffee, too aware of the space between us. She leaned slightly, elbows on the counter. You always come here the same time, mostly. Helps think, I said. Pause. Then, not that it's very effective. A laugh escaped her. Low and gentle, more a sound of understanding than amusement. I noticed how her shoulder shifted when she leaned back, how she tucked a stray lock behind her ear with almost no effort. I wanted to reach out, but I didn't. That would have been too much, too soon. I stared at my phone, a new text, not from anyone I knew, just a number I didn't recognize, and yet, somehow it carried a weight that made my stomach twist. I opened it. One more word and I might change my mind, I rated. The handwriting was digital, the message cold in pixels, but my heart kicked anyway. She looked at me across the cafe, and for a brief moment, the room shrank to the distance between us. She smiled that half smile, the one that didn't give anything away but hinted at everything. I wanted to ask her what she meant, what the words meant, but I stayed silent, folding my napkin, flicking my eyes toward her hands again, pretending not to hope. Outside, the light shifted, long autumn shadows stretching across the floor. The world moved as if nothing had happened. But I knew something had. And I didn't know if I was ready for it.